super skillful fighter, very talented fighter. And I talked about that, a while back. And I thought about this, if he wanted to go to 168 and he want to fight Canelo bad and Benavidez want to fight Canelo bad, if they can't get Canelo, they can fight each other. Benavidez and Crawford.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wow, for real?
I'm saying that both of you guys are chasing one fighter. If y'all feel like y'all chasing him and y'all can't get that fighter, then y'all should say, fuck it, we'll fight each other.
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, Terence Crawford at 168 against David Benavidez, that's a hell of a fight. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo.
No, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 170.
David Benavidez isn't celebrating Canelo Alvarez's historic loss. He is burning with rage over the aftermath. The Mexican monster has finally broken, delivering a merciless reality check on Terence Crawford for shattering the timeline and obliterating the biggest payday in boxing. Benavidez is done asking for a shot. He is rewriting the rules with one unyielding demand that flips everything upside down. This isn't mere frustration. It's a seismic shift in power, and Benavidez is making sure the world feels it.
He was, I think, referring to maybe if David could go and fight Crawford. Like, that's crazy.
To be honest, that would be even an embarrassment to me to say, David's too big for Crawford. Now we said that. Plus, you've seen Bo Mack also. They're not interested in David. Let's focus on what we have, and I've been seeing a lot of weird things happening in boxing these days. We got Tank fighting Jake Paul. We got Terence Crawford fighting Canelo. We're focused on the fight that's coming.
You'd think Benavidez would feel relief watching his rival stumble, but the truth is far more tangled.
I didn't see it. I like Terence Crawford. I like his boxing skills, but I'm gonna admit, man, it was just too hard for me to give him a win, man.
In a raw new interview, Benavidez lifted the veil on what was really unfolding behind the scenes with Saudi organizer Turki Alishik. There was a handshake deal, a verbal promise that was supposed to change Benavidez's entire life. The plan was simple. Canelo beats Crawford and then immediately steps into the ring with Benavidez for the mega fight of the decade. But when Crawford pulled off the upset, that whole script went up in smoke. Benavidez didn't hold back, openly admitting that Crawford came in and ruined everything. It's a rare moment where a fighter confesses that a rival's success ended up costing him a fortune.
The need for Benavidez.
Who, Canelo?
Turkey,
people are talking about it.
Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
So.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
man. No, we ain't doing that fight.
Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. We just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
With the money fight off the table, the entire power dynamic has shifted. For years, Benavidez chased every opportunity, bending over backward just to get Canelo in the ring. That chapter is closed. Benavidez made it painfully clear. He holds the cards now. As the WBC interim light heavyweight champion, he's done sacrificing himself to make weight for a fighter who just fell short. His ultimatum is sharp and unyielding. If Canelo wants a shot at the Mexican monster, he has to come up to 175 pounds. There's no going down to 168 ever again. He's demanding the respect and the weight that his position deserves.
So we know that in your division, maybe it'll be Bivol or Beterviev. We're all excited because now with Turki Alishik and the OGC here, also Canelo and Crawford. Which would you prefer the winner of if there was even a possibility down the line now that you are
To be honest with you, I don't think a fight with me and Canelo would ever happen at 168. I want to go back to 160. I'm good at 175. I'm world champion here. So if you'd want to come up to fight at 175, I'm all good with that. But right now, I can't live in this fantasy world where like, oh, maybe I'm going to get this fight, maybe this and that. I've done my job. I've done everything to get this fight. It's one of the biggest fights in boxing. A person don't want to make it happen. I'm not going to waste my time trying to make a fight happen. It doesn't want to fight. So I'm just trying to fight the people who are really trying to fight.
Since the dream fight is on pause, Benavidez is shifting his focus to a new target, Anthony Yarde. And let's be real, this isn't just about glory, it's about the bag. Benavidez openly admitted the money on offer in Saudi Arabia was insane, a payday he couldn't walk away from. But don't mistake him for just chasing a check. True to his fierce reputation, he promised a war, and he delivered every ounce of it. The fight ended with a historic TKO, marking his 25th knockout and adding another chapter to his legacy. Yet he still calls this bout B-grade, a testament to how highly he rates his own skills and how relentless he is in striving to be better. A lesson drilled into him by Benavidez Sr. from a young age. He recognized Yarde as a dangerous, hungry fighter, desperate with his back against the wall, the exact kind of chaos Benavidez thrives in. He's not here to box, he's here to dominate, unleashing the aggressive style fans have been starving to see.
Very excited, bro. We're right here. We're on this side of the street, Riyadh season, to where all the big fights get made happen. And I'm excited to be here because I know I'm going to get these big opportunities after this fight. A lot of big opportunities are coming in. But first things first, I'm 100% focused on my fighter, Anthony Yarde. I know he's a good fighter. He has a lot of experience. He's been in there with the best. But I'm just going to be too much for him. Right now, the moment where I'm at in my life, I feel like I'm a couple years away from taking over the sport of boxing. And I can't wait to do that and show the people who I am, show them how good I am. Like I said, there's a lot of great fighters on this side of the street, and I'm ready to fight all of them, and I'm ready to prove myself to the world and to the people that I'm going to be the best.
For years, Benavidez's career felt trapped by the fight that never came. It was always, when will he face Canelo? But in a rare moment of clarity, he admitted he's finally letting it go. He saw how the politics of boxing had been holding him hostage. Waiting on Canelo was stalling his own legacy. He accepted that the redhead might never sign the contract, and in that moment, he chose to stop caring.
The fights are being made because I've been in a position from back then like Canelo Alvarez, we were trying to get that fight for years and years, and that fight didn't happen. So, I kind of learned learned how to block everything out, and I just prepare for what's in front of me, Yeah. Like I said, I've been making a case that I want to fight the best fighters in the world, the best fighters in the division, and it's kind of hard to make those fights happen. There's a lot of politics that go in behind it, but little by little, one step at a time, I feel like we're getting to the moment where we want to get to, in my career. And, all these fights are starting to manifest itself. And like I said, if we don't get the fights now, we're definitely going to get them in the future. But as we wait for those big fights, this is a great fight to take. Meanwhile,
it's a psychological shift that makes him even more lethal. He's no longer a challenger begging a champion's approval. He's a man forging his own path, no matter what the superstars do.
I'm not going to be stupid and say, if I could get a fight with, Usyk, I got to give the respect to the weight classes. They're there for a reason. But if I could get a fight with Zurso Ramirez, I think right now is the best time to make it happen, because I always knew there would be a possibility of fighting him, but now this is the best time to make it happen. Two Mexicans, and fighting, maybe we can make it in Las Vegas, in the United States after this fight. And honestly, what else does Zurso Ramirez have? I know they're trying to fight Opetaia, but honestly, I'm a bigger name than Opetaia right now because of what I've done in the fights I've fought. I'm not saying that I'm stronger or whatever it is. I've done the work. I've fought pay-per-views. I've put in the work. So I think it's solidified that me and versus Zurso Ramirez will be a bigger fighter than Zurso Ramirez versus Opetaia. And then that's just in my opinion. No disrespect to Opetaia or nothing. He's a great fighter. But I think it makes sense on both sides for me and Zurso Ramirez.
So if Canelo is off the table, what's next? It's bold and it's daring. Benavidez unveiled a plan that has him leaving the light heavyweight division sooner than anyone anticipated. His sights are set on cruiserweight, aiming to challenge Zurso Ramirez for not one, but 2 belts.
Then my plan is to get a fight with Zurso Ramirez at cruiserweight. It's just like, you know what I mean? I've been calling for these big fights. You know, I've been showing that, you know, I back up everything I say. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I've been held back a lot, not only because these other fighters, they know that they don't want to give me opportunity because they know what's going to happen. And I think that's more and more apparent day by day. So, you know, like I said, if it's not with these big, if it's not with Beterviev or Bivol, then we're trying to go after Zurso Ramirez. You know what I mean? And I want to reach greatness, and I think it's time to do that. And you know, with the way everything is happening right now, you know, I'm just grateful for, you know, Lord Jesus Christ and God Almighty and my father, my team, and you know, everything is going great, and I'm extremely motivated, and I'm gonna accomplish everything I set out to accomplish.
He sees this as a defining legacy move, becoming a multi-division champion and ruling a weight class where size and power truly count. After that, he plans to return and face the winner of Beterviev versus Bivol for undisputed glory. He's not chasing fights. He's chasing history.
Weight division, 175 pounds. You have the undisputed champion in Dimitri Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that like if you win this fight, you're gonna get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
I mean, yeah, it's not. They haven't told me specifically that, but you know, I mean, just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am. You know, I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I take my career one fight at a time. You know what I mean? I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. You know, I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, you know, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turki Al-Sheikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Beterbiev or Bivol is next. You know what I mean? And doesn't know, you know, if I was a different type of fighter, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to go talk to my team and see what's the best. No, the fights I want are Beterviev and Bivol. You know what I mean? Just because I want to challenge myself. I want to be the best without a doubt. But, you know what I mean? Sometimes in the business sense, things happen. You know, so sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen.
Perhaps the most striking part of this new chapter is the man himself. We've seen Benavidez grow up under the spotlight, and it wasn't always graceful. He opened up about his early 20s, making millions only to watch it vanish through reckless choices and bad habits. He spoke honestly about the dark periods, the struggles with substances, and the lack of discipline that nearly derailed his career before it truly began.
I mean, it was really bad decision and bad timing, you know what I mean? When I decided to do it, you know, I just, you know, it happened. It needed to happen. When it happened, you know, the people, I think it was just God, you know, telling me I shouldn't be doing something because it was just a random drug test that ended up at my front door. But you know, I'm glad it happened. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna be making stupid decisions like that anymore. And not just only it wasn't bad for me. It was bad for my family. You know, all the bad publicity we got. You know, I got a lot of hate mail on Instagram. But you know, it's just decisions should be made like that. You know what I mean? And I just want to use it for all my fans, upcoming boxers that, you know, that even think about doing that. You know, it's going to hurt you a lot. You know what I mean? Not only money-wise, but, you know, everything's going to be stripped from you, your title, your reputation. So it might as well just avoid it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. Yeah.
How bad did it get? Like, was it something that you're doing all the time, or?
No, it was the first time. You know what I mean? But it was, like I said, it was bad timing. It was really bad timing. But, you know, it's just.
But that kid is gone. The Benavidez we see today is investing wisely, building businesses, and living with discipline. He credits his passion for the sport and the guidance of his brother for keeping him from falling apart.
I was really depressed for about 3 months, but it was my own fault, you know what I mean, while I was suspended. So, I mean, it's just really bad timing, and, you know, it shouldn't be done.
So that happens. The title has to, I believe, relinquish it. And then it's out there. You're saying that you're depressed a little bit. How were you able to build yourself back up and get through all that?
You know, I know I'm better than most of the guys in the division, you know what I mean? So after, I get stripped of my title, I get suspended, this and that, I just hear a lot of guys talking, but they weren't talking when I was right there, you know what I mean? And that just led me, it just, like I said, you live and you learn, I didn't kill nobody, it wasn't as bad as it was, what I mean?
Do you feel that you should have been stripped or relinquished from it?
Yeah, I mean, I deserve to get stripped, what I mean? Because the champion shouldn't act like that, but it's just, I know I'm better than most of these guys on my weight division. I just want to show the fans, what I mean? And I'm just coming back stronger than ever, basically.
Talking about that relationship as well with your father, because we're seeing it a bit more of a common theme. Obviously, you're trained by your father. You've got Brian Norman trained by his father, Devin Haney by his father. Starting to see, certainly at the elite level now, a lot of fighters taking that family route. Why do you think it is that there's so much success coming through in that aspect, and why are you and your father having so much success together?
I think it's better to have a father-trainer-son relationship because you're fighting for two people. Back then when I was younger, I didn't only fight for myself. I didn't really care about it. I wasn't amateur, nothing. I didn't care about nothing else when I'd go on the sparring sessions. I'd only care about making my dad happy or angry. And even if I made him angry, he'd take me back home and freaking spank me for doing bad. So in that case, you always got to have something to fight for. You know what I mean? Now I fight for my family, fight for my wife, I fight for my children, my father and my mother and my brothers and sisters. So it's easy to let yourself down if you're fighting for more people. You know what I mean? It gives you that extra energy to not let yourself down and not let your people down.
David Benavidez may have missed his night with Canelo, but he gained something far more precious: his freedom. He's no longer chasing shadows or relying on handshake deals that could crumble. He has a plan, a huge payday in Saudi Arabia, and a clear road to becoming a multi-weight world champion. In a way, Terence Crawford didn't derail Benavidez's career. He might have saved him from waiting forever. So the question remains, with Canelo in the rearview, what's next? Does Benavidez have what it takes to dominate the cruiserweight division and become boxing's new face on his own?
Assurance is that, whether it be from Turkey or from your team, whoever it may be, that a fight with a Beterviev, a Bivol or a Canelo is next. Have you had any conversations?
There's been no assurance for the past 3 years, especially I was number one trying to fight Canelo. I was number one my last fight to fight Bivol. So there's no assurances. I take every fight, every performance one fight at a time. You know what I mean? So my mind is 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next.
Do you think they're avoiding you?
I think with Beterviev and Bivol, the timing is just wrong for them. Bivol just had a back surgery. Then Beterviev wants to get the rematch with him. So, I can understand that. I wouldn't say they're scared of me, but I would say Canelo's scared of me 100%.
So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, hit subscribe, and tap that bell icon so you never miss our next videos. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.